What up, everybody? This is yours truly, Rama Screen, and it's time for another celeb interview segment. And if you are like me, huge fan of the Transformers franchise, then you and I are anticipating Netflix new animated series, Transformers War for Cybertron. That's premiering, I believe, July 30th. So it's coming up soon. And so I'm here today to talk with the score composer for that project, none other than Maestro Alexander Bornstein. How you doing, sir?
Good, thank you.
Wow, so excited about this new show. Let me start by asking you this. Um, how did your involvement with the project come to be? How did you get on board? And were you always a Transformers fan yourself?
Well, I was brought into the project on the recommendations of a couple of people, the voice director of the show, and then someone, a mutual connection to FJ DeSanto, who's the showrunner. And they, were looking for a composer. My name came up, and I submitted a bunch of demo material of sort of some previous things I had done. And then I met with FJ. We hit it off, and that was kind of it. It was a very organic, pretty smooth process getting involved, which was great because I had been a huge Transformers fan since I was a kid. I was a big G1 fan in about like 1992, 93, because the Sci-Fi Channel had just started broadcasting, and part of their animation block on weekday mornings was G1. So I wasn't part of the original, excitement of Transformers in the 80s, when the original show came out and the movie. But I did get into it in the 90s, and then I kind of would, watch the series as they came out growing up. But, my original love was G1.
I guess my next question would be, since there have been so many Transformers animated shows over the years, my favorite including Beast War. And so in your conversation with the writers and the producers of this show, how did you guys come up with the music that fits with what they have in mind for this project? And also, did you take influence from any of the music from the past shows?
When we started talking about the music, there was a clear kind of direction from FJ that he wanted a very large scale, very hybrid score. There was a lot of fusion of, synthesizers and electronics and, orchestra and organic textures. So that was kind of the starting point. And then I was shown a lot of decks from Hasbro of like production art, storyboards, some testing animations, and that kind of helped sort of, in my mind, figure out how to do this mixture of orchestra and synthesizer and, smaller solo textures as well. And so once I had that idea, we started doing, themes. And so I wrote 3 main themes for the series. And then once we had those set, that basically helped influence how the score was written.
That goes to my next question, actually, themes. Because I've spoken with a lot of composers over the years, including Bear McCreary and all those guys, that, character themes is a big deal. Like, Batman animated series, you have the Batman theme, you have Joker theme. Did you have one for Ultra Magnus or Transformers, Bumblebee, separate themes for each of them?
The way I approach the show thematically is basically there is an Autobot theme, a Decepticon theme, and then a theme for Cybertron itself, because we do get to learn a lot about the planet in this show. And so, but what I'm able to do then is with the Autobot theme or Decepticon theme, they can be developed in different ways when it needs to pertain to a certain character. But the approach I took was something more along the lines of like what Jerry Goldsmith or Elmer Bernstein did. For an example, the Ghostbusters theme that Elmer Bernstein wrote, he used it for the group, there wasn't an individual theme for each character. And that's kind of how I approached it here, because this is really about the Autobots versus the Decepticons. But the themes can also be rearranged and developed so that specific characters kind of get their moments with them. And in order to create even more kind of continuity, the Decepticon theme is actually based on part of the Autobot theme. So there's still this connection between the two of them because they are ultimately all Cybertronians, even if they're at each other's throats. But I wanted to make sure there was still some kind of continuity between those themes. And there are some motifs for certain plot elements. Alita 1 has her own theme. But it really is about those two Autobot and Decepticon themes because I agree. You need to have these melodic anchors that kind of keep people and the audience engaged with what's going on.
Also, I looked up some of the work that you've done in the past, and one thing popped out because I interviewed Tom Hopper for Kill Ratio, and it's like, whoa, Alexander did the music for Kill Ratio.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So compared to the stuff that you've done in the past, compared to doing a score for a movie like Kill Ratio, um, how is it working on a project like this? Because people always tell me that working on TV show is more intense because you gonna have to come up with a short movie on a weekly basis, basically.
Yeah, it's television is a very intense kind of pressure cooker environment. The one thing that I've been very fortunate with War for Cybertron to have is actually a lot of time. I get big chunks of weeks, or sometimes I've even had like a month or so to do an entire episode on its own. And so that allows a lot of time to really make sure everything is how I want it to be, and that FJ's happy, and that everyone likes where the music is going. And it allows me too to kind of create a really big scale architecture for the music. So I've had a lot of really great opportunities to take these themes that we've come up with and really chart their growth over the whole season. And that's something that happens like with Alita's theme. Is it really gets a chance to kind of grow into something because I had the time to know, okay, well, I know where this is going to be by episode 6. How do I chart this out? And it allows me to try some things, and having that ability to have trial and error is so huge. And I think the music really benefits as a result of it. So it's a little atypical, versus kind of the usual television scoring environment, but it's been really great. And it's a lot different from something like Kill Ratio, where it feels more self-contained in a way.
So you've done the work also for the score also for part 2 and part 3. It's finished?
I'm currently working on chapter 2 right now, which is called Earthrise. So I'm right in the middle of that.
All right, awesome. Can't wait for those as well. As I'm winding down to my final questions here, I've watched the first part. I'm still under review embargo, so can't spill spoilers. But can you get my fans excited for the show? Like, what separates? Do you think, from a bird's eye viewpoint, what do you think separates this show from the other Transformers shows that we've seen?
I think this show strikes a really awesome balance of kind of acknowledging the legacy of Transformers and showing you things that you've seen before. But I think this show goes deeper and a lot richer in terms of where it spends its time. And, I think an example I would find is that, to me, watching this show was like watching Batman the Animated Series for the first time as a kid. It was like, here's a TV show that really understands the source material and takes it seriously, but also knows how to be a little bit tongue-in-cheek when it needs to be, or have a couple of jokes here and there, but like is so respectful to the franchise. And it's just, I love the tone of the show, and I think fans are really going to like it.
All right. My final question is, what is your advice for aspiring score composers that want to break into the business?
I think, learn how to always be improving your own skill set. Like, always be asking questions, reaching out to people, and be able to critique your own work and sort of figure out what you can be doing to make yourself valuable in the professional community, so that you have skills that people are going to want to hire you to use. And then at the same time, really be cultivating relationships with people that are actually making content, because that's how you're going to get work. And if you can kind of build these two highways at the same time, eventually those highways will merge, and then, hopefully you'll be in pretty good shape.
All right, everybody, go check out Transformers War for Cybertron Part 1 Siege, premiering July 30th on Netflix. Thank you so much, Alex, for talking to me. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on the show.